A local vision strategy is designed to monitor all of the steps that a visually impaired person might go through on the sight loss pathway, from the very beginnings of the process where they think they might have a problem, through diagnosis, through health service treatments, handover to local authority, usually local authority organised social care arrangements, probably a handover through some voluntary sector organised support services, through to independent living as hopefully the final stage of that process.
My name's Pam Lacey, and I've been appointed by Thomas Pocklington Trust to lead on the development and implementation of local vision strategies, doing that in partnership with local societies and other national organisations. In particular, we want to build on the work of the UK Vision Strategy, which was a national initiative.
We've been doing a pilot in Greenwich to look at how a local strategy can be developed. What we're hoping to do is to roll out this pilot, or the learnings from this pilot and local vision strategies, across every borough in London, so that ultimately we can end up with knowing that by working with partners we've got a solution for visually impaired people wherever in London they live, and there's no longer a postcode lottery. But we have to start somewhere with a pilot to make sure we know what we're doing and that it works, and Greenwich is the place where we're starting. Well, a local vision strategy is needed because a lot of the services that are available in many geographical areas either aren't as good as they really ought to be or aren't joined up.
We need to understand what the actual needs of the population are. What we actually understand at the moment are the needs of the population as they present to us. What this does is allows us to actually go and do that kind of demographic work and that social work to understand exactly what types of issues these patients are going to be faced with, to inform our commissioning decisions in a way that it hasn't been informed before. We've not had a low vision strategy in Greenwich before, so this should provide us with some really key information to help us design the services.
The first step was to identify what information there already was. I was able to use the information to populate a draft vision strategy for Greenwich. But a key part of that work is to find out what local people who need and use the services really think and feel. And so it was agreed that we'd hold an event on the 9th of May at the Forum, which is where a lot of local voluntary organisations are based, and I was able to identify a wide range of stakeholders, in particular of course service users and carers. We really wanted their views and input. And then organisations from the statutory service, so the local authority, social care, the NHS, ophthalmology, LEAD, and lots of local voluntary organisations.
The aim of today was to pull all people together who's got some sort of input in the Borough of Greenwich, what can help to design and help to look at our strategy and how we go forward, and get people's views on paper and get some targets in place, so it's not just a talking shop. It means something in 18 months' time that blind people's lives will change in Greenwich.
We had Phil Ambler from the UK Vision Strategy to give us an overview of what had been happening nationally.
To improve the eye health of people of the UK, eliminate avoidable sight loss, and deliver excellent support to those with sight problems. And finally, enhancing the inclusion, participation and independence of blind and partially sighted people.
And then Bill Britton, who had already done a vision strategy for Barking and Dagenham, and we could draw on his experience, and that would make an interesting discussion as well for people.
In a sense, all roads lead back to regular eye tests. So as we now know, I think about half of sight loss is avoidable if people have an eye test and have the sight problem identified at an early stage.
But also, in order to help break down barriers and give people a worthwhile opportunity, I put together 3 key questions, and with facilitated discussion groups we were able to get a lot of good information back about what people thought about a strategy.
Actually, I'm totally blind on the right side. And I have been going to Moorfields, you know where that is, and what I'm waiting for at the moment is to get that cataract taken care of, and they said I might be able to see much better.
You know, what you said, Alice, was that you'd not heard of Blind Independence Greenwich.
No.
So you didn't. You had great support. You've already told us you had a brilliant experience with your GP.
Got me in touch eventually with you.
So eventually the hospital put you in touch.
It was a hospital, yes. It was one of the doctors at the hospital.
Something that's already happening in Bexley, and that is that the scheme for people with learning disabilities.
Oh, yes.
We've already got one up and running in Bexley, but we haven't got it setting up yet in Greenwich. The idea basically is that some of the people with learning disabilities, particularly with severe learning disabilities, it's often you need multiple visits to the optician before they even have the confidence to get any sensible results.
Making healthier choices, so we would support people in doing that, you know.
I'll call it healthy choices, isn't it? Because it's more than healthy eating, isn't it?
Oh yes, physical activity, mental well-being, everything.
Let's list these.
I'm a direct contradiction. I eat 5 a day and smoke.
So there we go then, you see. And you're 84.
And I'm 84,
diet.
And this smoking, we can refer on to the smoking too.
We wanted people to identify what they saw as 2 key action points as well, and feedback to the group. And people really enjoyed having the opportunity to feed back on what they'd identified. And we had a really good range of key initiatives, things that were working well, things that weren't quite working as well, and sort of what were really gaps were identified. And then the action points, each facilitator fed back to the whole room.
The role means that I go out and about and I make people aware that that we're here and what we do for blind and partly sighted people. And at the moment I'm in the process of going through transport, especially the underground and the buses. I've spoken to Lenderval and we had a good meeting with him, and now we're taking it further to go and see Boris Johnson. Just simply asking the basic questions, and if necessary arrange that he will come out one day with us and do a mystery shop or something, and just see how we have to cope.
We are looking forward to carrying out the strategy. It is going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. We can't do it on our own, but where I got really excited is that people are willing to help.
Because this particular strategy and this work is actually driven from a patient involvement group, it means we get a different perspective. We commission services and we have our clinical view or we have our managerial view. That's not necessarily the same as a patient view, and we have to be able to weave patient expectations and take into account patient experiences as we commission the services. And in fact, where we've done that before, we often end up commissioning a service that looks quite different, not only to the service that's happened before, but to the service we thought we were going to commission. And I think that's important, I think that's good. I think it's only through a wider group of people becoming involved in any type of clinical commissioning that we will be able to design services that have got longevity as we move forward over the next 5-10 years.
Thank you for watching the film. I hope you enjoyed it. 6 months ago, we had no idea what a vision strategy looked like, how we can plan the future. Now we've got 15 people around the table with the same aims. They are supporting blind and partly sighted people in the Royal Borough of Greenwich so they get the services they deserve. You can do that in your area. Just think how you can help more blind and partly sighted people by just working together as a team.
This has been a really exciting project for the Royal Borough of Greenwich, and I would encourage everybody who has an interest in this subject to get actively engaged in the process.